Hello, 6th grade math students. We find ourselves at the end of Chapter 12 with real-world problems in surface area and volume. We're going to apply what we've learned in 12.1 through 12.3 to solve some practical problems. Let's begin. Let's begin by solving a word problem about the volume of a rectangular prism. A rectangular fish tank 60 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 34 centimeters is 1/3 full of water. Find the volume of water needed to fill the tank completely. The volume of the water we need to fill the tank is equal to the volume of empty space in the tank. Because the tank is 1/3 full, we know that the height of the empty space is 2/3 the height of the fish tank, which is 2/3 of 34 centimeters. See? So what is our needed height? It's 2/3 of 34. Let's go ahead and multiply that out to give us 68/3. Now we know the height measurement that we need to use for our volume equation, length times width times height. In order to find the volume needed, let's take length, 60, times width, 15, times the height we need to fill the tank, 68/3. We're just going to go ahead and multiply that all across, and it gives us an answer of 20,400 cubic centimeters of water. If you wish to do so, you could also solve this problem by finding the total volume of the tank and then multiplying that amount by 2/3 to calculate the needed volume. Either technique will work. If you wish to solve it that way, you would want to find the volume of the full tank, 34 times 15 times 60, which equals 30,600 centimeters cubed. And then you'd find 2/3 of that because that's what you're missing. And then we would simply solve, cross-reduce to get 2/1 times 10,200, which gives us a final answer of 20,400 centimeters cubed. Same answer, two different techniques. Do whichever works best for your brain. Now let's try a practice problem like this. The aquarium pictured measures 25 inches long by 12 inches wide by 14 inches tall. What volume of water would be required to fill the tank 3/4 full? In other words, what is 3/4 of the capacity of the aquarium by volume? Solve in cubic inches. Press pause while you work, and when you get back, we're going to solve some problems using surface area. For our next example, we're going to work with this non-rectangular prism. We're going to find both the surface area and the volume. Let's begin with the volume. So if we wanted to find the volume of this block of wood, we would want to begin by solving for the area of its trapezoidal bases. Remember, the area of a trapezoid is found by taking 1/2 times height times b sub 1 plus b sub 2. So in this case, we'll be taking 1/2 times 3, which is our height for both trapezoids, times 3 plus 7. So the size of our parallel sides is 1/2 times 30, or 15 centimeters. All right. So we know that the area of our base is 15 centimeters. Now we simply need to multiply that by our height. Our height is 4, giving us a volume for this trapezoidal prism of 60 centimeters cubed. All right, let's write that over here and go on to solving for the surface area. Now let's solve for the surface area. The surface area of the wooden block is going to equal the perimeter of the base times the height plus the total area of both bases. So let's begin with the perimeter of the base. The base measures 7 by 3 by 3 by 5. See where I'm getting all those numbers? And then we're going to multiply that by 4, which is the height. And we're going to add that to the area of the two bases, which we already calculated in our last problem as being 15. But we have 2, so we have to multiply by 2. So this gives us 18 times 4 plus 30. 18 times 4 equals 72 plus 30. So the surface area of our block is 102 centimeters squared. Okay. I went through that pretty quickly, but let's go ahead and try a practice problem on your own on the next screen. The metal bar pictured below has bases shaped like parallelograms. The height of the parallelograms is 4 centimeters. The length of the first side is 5 centimeters, and the length of the other side is 8 centimeters. The height of the shape is 24 centimeters. Using that information, first find the volume of this metal bar. Remember, you'll want to use the base of the prism times its height to solve for the volume. The base will be equal to the area of the parallelograms. And then the surface area you'll calculate by finding the perimeter of the base, multiplying that by the height, and adding to that the total area of the two bases. All right, good luck with this. Don't worry if you get a little stuck. We'll definitely work it out together tomorrow, as well as work some additional examples tomorrow. Press pause while you work, and when you come back, we're going to learn how to solve problems with missing dimensions. It's going to be fun. See you in a second. Now let's learn to solve for missing dimensions when given the area or the volume. This square prism of height 11 inches has a volume of 539 cubic inches. Find the length of each side of the square base. We only know one dimension, right? We only know that it's 11 inches tall. So let's begin by using the formula for volume. Let's use base times height, because that only leaves us with one thing that we need to solve for. If we use the other formula, length times width times height, we'd be missing two dimensions. So let's start with base times height, or area of base times height. All right, so our volume is going to equal 539 inches cubed times our unknown area of the base times 11. So we're going to divide each side by 11 to isolate our unknown area of the base. And that gives us 49 inches squared now, okay? So if we wanted to find the area of the base, we know that it's length times width, correct? So what we can do here is simply find the square root of 49. That's going to equal our length times our width. What's the square root of 49? It's 7. So our length and our width are each valued at 7. Now that we've solved for the length and the width, and we know each is 7 inches, we can find the surface area of the prism. So once again, we'll take the perimeter of the base. Well, our base is a square, so the perimeter is going to be 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, right? We're going to multiply that by the height, 11, and we're going to add the area of the two bases. So plus 2 times 49. Okay. Let's just go ahead and solve this. 7 times 4 is 28, times 11, plus 2 times 49, which equals 98. 2 times 11, or 28 times 11, excuse me, is 308, plus 98 giving us an answer of 406 inches squared. So our surface area is 406 cubic inches. Let's work another example together. Jacob is making a wooden birdhouse. The birdhouse is a prism with bases that are pentagons and has the dimensions shown in this diagram. The volume of the prism is 720 cubic inches. First, let's find the height AB of the prism. We need to begin by finding the area of the pentagonal base, right? Fortunately, they've given us the height of the triangle as well as the base of the triangle, 8 inches. So we can solve very easily for the area of the triangle, which is going to be 1/2 times 8 times 3, which equals 12. So 12 inches squared is the area of the triangle. Then we have the area of the square below it, which is simply 6 times 8, or 48. So the area here is 60 inches squared. Now we can solve for the missing height. The volume is 720 inches squared, or cubed, excuse me, and that's going to equal the area of our base times the height. So let's divide both sides by 60 inches squared. Which gives us 12 inches being equal to the height. So our height here is 12 inches. Okay, now let's go on and solve for the surface area of the prism. Remember, we'll calculate our surface area by adding the perimeter of the base, then multiplying that by the height, and adding that to the area of the two bases. Okay, so our perimeter of our base is going to be 8 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5 plus 6. That equals 30. We're going to multiply that by our height, which is 12, as we calculated in the first part of this problem. And then we're going to add that to the area of both bases. Remember, we also calculated this in the first problem. The area of our bases is 60 inches squared, but we need to multiply that times 2 because there are two bases. Alrighty, 30 times 12 is 360. We're going to add that to 60 inches squared times 2, which is 120 inches squared. And adding that all together gives us 480 inches squared. So if we wanted to paint our birdhouse, we would need to purchase enough paint to cover 480 inches squared of area. Let's finish up chapter 12.4 now with a practice problem for you. Here's the first practice problem to wrap us up. The candle shown here is shaped like a square prism. The candle is 15 centimeters high and its volume is 960 cubic centimeters. Using what you know about finding volume, use the information you have to calculate the length of the sides of the square base, and then calculate the surface area. Use the formula volume equals area of base times height. Press pause while you work, and when you're ready to go on to the last problem, join me. Okay, folks, last one. A storage chest is shaped like a prism with bases that are pentagons. The diagram shows some of the dimensions of the storage chest. The volume of the storage chest is 855 cubic inches. First, find the height AB of the prism. As a reminder, the steps will be to find the area of the pentagonal base. So use what you know about finding the area of first this rectangle and then this trapezoid. Add those together and that will give you the area of your pentagonal base. then use V equals base times height to solve for your height. The second question asks you to find the surface area of the prism. So remember, your surface area is your perimeter of your base times the height plus the area of the two bases. All right, good luck. If you get stuck, don't worry. We'll go over this together tomorrow, as well as several more problems that let us practice what we've learned in Chapter 12. I'll see you then.